Part 379. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 3781. Shut up. There are enemies. Those Protoss generals we encountered in front of Yuanqi City. They know me. Turn around. Don't talk nonsense. Be prepared. Once you are discovered, you will enter the small world of Shushan Pavilion. Fang Fan's voice seemed a little hoarse, and his gaze immediately stood still. This time I went out, maybe it was because I didn't read the almanac. There's something wrong with it here and there. Every now and then you have to run into a little bells and whistles. For a while, my brain was buzzing. At the gate of the city, he was searched by the city guards, but he also met Bella, the daughter of the city lord's mansion. After finally getting rid of all these, two more familiar generals came. How do you say that? With all the gaudy waves, this mentality has completely collapsed. Unconscious. Totally numb. I don't know how to deal with this mess next. In front of the army, Talha was still talking to himself. It feels like him. The alien commander. I can recognize it when it turns into ashes. Who? This is it? It shouldn't be. Why can't I see anything? What's going on here? What's going on here? There is a problem, there is definitely a problem here. The third-class god General Talha of the Protoss was like a nightmare, his lips were trembling all the time while talking. That expression and posture are in place, and it looks a little uncomfortable. This time the thoughts and feelings are in place, and the brain is buzzing. The alien? The leader of the alien. Talha, why have you been so godly lately? This is not on the battlefield of foreigners. This is Tianlin City. This is in our Tianlin City. Where are you foreigners? What are they doing in our Tianlin City? Quick, stop the ink. Let's go quickly. This time, those bastards from Disha City and Huangji City came together to attack, and the Lord City Master ordered us to rush to help. The fighter plane is delayed, and you and I can't afford it. Oh shit. Damn it. It's happened once before. If something happens again now, it's really unjustifiable. Asshole. We must make amends. Otherwise, Lord City Master and Master Gusha will tear us apart. Rugas, the third-class god general of the Protoss, sighed silently. What happened to the series of outbreaks? Nothing is going well. These messy things trembled in his head, and his whole body was completely numb. The more I think about it, the more restless I feel. But this time I really feel. My intuition shouldn't be wrong. Real. Rugas, you trust me. All stop. I'm going to see it. Take a good look. Talha shook his head, and then his teeth chattered slightly, and his heart started beating all over. An excited heart and a trembling hand can only be known if you have experienced it deeply. Crazy. I think you are really crazy. Why? Wanting to arrest those foreigners has reached the point of dying. Toss these useless efforts here. Now what we have to deal with is not those foreigners, but Huangji City and Disha City. Everyone has already called to the door. Rugas shook his head, dissuading from the side. There's something wrong with his old chap now. Since fighting against that group of foreigners, it has become what it is now. Can it be said that he is obsessed? Playing crazy? Obsolete. All in all, if we follow this trend, we still don't know what it will look like in the end. So at this time, you must completely collapse your mentality, and you must not be careless in the slightest. Anyone who understands this point understands it. If you don't understand, there's nothing you can do about it. If you stretch your hips, who can be blamed? You don't understand. I saw it, I really saw it. This group of foreigners has a very special smell. I'm sure that what I saw just now is the leader of that group of mysterious aliens. This time, I must not let them disappear from my nose again. A thorough investigation. Give me a thorough investigation. Talha, the third-class god general of the Protoss, insisted on his belief. While speaking, he immediately walked out and frantically explored the surrounding area. Fang Fan is now sitting on pins and needles. He wanted to take people directly into the small world of Shushan Pavilion now, but now that they disappeared in full view, the enemy would definitely be alerted. At that time, it will really be a waste of money. Don't do it, absolutely don't do it. The current rhythm seems very chaotic. If you are not careful, the whole situation will follow to pull your hips. The situation must be stabilized. Be sure to hold on. This is the most important thing. I am CAO. Come here. Come here. It's really that Protoss. I know him. I've played against him before. But this is the guy who vomited blood from the envoy. This divine envoy will never forget him. What to do now? Fang Fan, hurry up and come up with a charter. It's not right, it's not right. It's over, the enemy is really over. Fang Fan misses you, kid, you should say something. Just hide in the small world of Shushan Pavilion. There is no longer any delay. If you don't leave, you may not be able to leave with the leader. Why? Fang Fan boy, did you hear me talking to you? Bai Piao took a deep breath, and while speaking, her calves felt a little weak. While talking at the moment, his eyes frantically moved towards the surroundings. But now it seems that there is only one way. How could Fang Fan not know that the current situation is serious? But the more severe the situation is, the more he wants to gamble. Give it to me. Kathy gave Fang Fan a reassuring look, and then walked straight forward. What are you guys doing? The City Lord has issued a first-level battle call. Why are you still here leisurely? Don't you know that the war is like a fire? Delayed the battle situation, can you bear this responsibility? Don't you want to fight on the city wall? Are you greedy for life and afraid of death? Okay. Today's matter, my wife must report to the City Lord. Kathy instantly showed the style of Madame 17, the Lord of Tianlin City, and for a while, the soldiers around were silent. It's all here now, what can I do? The road ahead has been fully locked. Kathy's appearance attracted everyone's attention. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3782. Who are you? Hindering military affairs here? Are you courting death? Get out. Otherwise, kill without mercy. Aren't you the spy of those foreigners? Talha, the third-rank god general of Tianlin City, yelled, and while speaking, his lingering gaze swept over him, and a falcon's gaze appeared in his pupils. For a while, the surrounding situation became serious. Ah! Lady! It's the 17th lady of the Lord City Lord. Talha! Shut up! You don't want to live anymore. Quickly apologize to the mayor's wife. Lugas is not as reckless as Talha, he is a person who is good at judging the situation and exploiting the situation. He basically has a thorough understanding of those characters in the City Lord's mansion. Although the 17th wife of the City Lord is not very favored by the City Lord, she is the wife of the City Lord after all. In other words, this is the master. Can you speak like that to your master? What about the mayor's wife? I'm looking for foreigners. What does it have to do with her? If foreigners are allowed to enter my Tianlin city, it will be considered a major event. Talha waved his hand, as if he didn't care about the pressure. From his point of view, he only wanted to find foreigners, but kill them quickly. Snapped. Just as Talha was speaking, a loud slap fell on his face, and his cheeks swelled instantly. Talha had a fiery temper, but he couldn't help it at this moment, his eyes were full of murderous intent. "What are you doing? Asshole! How dare you treat me like this? Crazy! Looking for death." The roaring sounds gathered, and the gnashing of teeth was fully displayed. Talha gritted his teeth, and the sullen expression on his face was beyond words. Crazy, but also seems a little incomprehensible. This kind of posture, this kind of look is revealed, and it is very interesting to watch. It looks quite different, but it also has a special feeling when you feel it. Very exciting, and very unusual. How? I don't dare to fight against the enemy on the city wall, but I am invincible when I run over to bully the old and weak, women and children. Snort. Kathy snorted coldly, and the aura of a weak demigod swept over, instantly suppressing Talha. Talha's face turned red for a while. Shame. How embarrassing. Damn it. Disgraceful and lost at home. He was slapped in the mouth by a woman. The key is that you can't fight back, you can't beat it at all. He is a third-class general in Tianlin City, and now he can't even beat a woman. Talha's eyes gradually turned blood red, so what about the weak demigod? This face is lost, so it is natural to fight to the end. At this time, you can't be cowardly. Just go up and beat. At the critical moment, we must show this momentum. Talha fluttered his body, and then started roaring crazily. Surround this woman. She has a problem. A big problem. Catch him and interrogate him. After Talha's stubborn temper came up, he immediately followed it to the extreme. While speaking, murderous intent radiated from the depths of his eyes. If he really followed his stubborn donkey and went on doing it, it would be really difficult to deal with this matter. Fortunately, at the critical moment, Rugas, another third-class god general of the Protoss, was still a little sane. Return. Come back. Don't be rude to Madam 17. How many heads have you grown? How dare you be so presumptuous? Walk. Hurry up to the front line. Lugas waved his hand, and immediately issued a military order, then hugged the violent Talha tightly, and dragged him towards the distance. The group of Protoss soldiers looked at each other and looked at each other, looking a little confused for a while. This seems to be a bit different from what was expected. The two generals have opposite orders. Whose orders are they going to obey? Weighing left and right, he immediately followed Rugas. Meddling in other people's business is the most undesirable thing. Now if it is pressing forward urgently, what will it be? Is it possible that the wife of the city lord is really going to be arrested? They're not that tough yet. After thinking about it, I knew how to execute the order. This heart is like a mirror. The only one that this army is still chasing is probably that Talha. She definitely has a problem. She jumped out at this time with ulterior motives. Just grab it and ask for clarification. Woo 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 woo. Are you, Rugas, what are you doing covering my mouth? Let the army continue to investigate. Absolutely can't just let it go. Who, talking to you. Don't drag me. Talha couldn't help jumping up, he just wanted to find out. What are you waiting for? Lord Talha is drunk, why don't you hurry up and support him? Let's go. Don't stay here. Lugas frantically hinted at the surrounding generals with his eyes, and then forcibly dragged Talha away. Call. This stubborn donkey has a temper. Fortunately, nothing major happened. Rugas heaved a sigh of relief, and then looked flatteringly at Kathy, the 17th wife of the owner of Tianlin City. I'm sorry, ma'am. My brother killed foreigners and killed crazy demons before. If you offend me, please bear with me. Ruga seemed to know how to be a man, and apologized there with a low eyebrow, not daring to slack off in the slightest. That's the mayor's wife? Such a role is not something that can be played casually. At the very least, the mentality must collapse in all directions. This is the most important thing. In the consciousness, the feeling is extremely profound. Snort. For the sake of the fact that you are about to go to the front line, forget it. Talk him after you turn around. Relying on my status, I'm going out and doing something wrong. Hurry up and support the front line. The battle cannot be delayed. Kathy reprimanded a few words in a pretentious manner, and then let it go as soon as it was good, and the matter ended here. The danger also came to an abrupt end. Seeing this army gradually leave, the hearts of the people also slowly let go. As expected of the mayor's wife. That talk works. I don't know what the Twitter said. The soldiers left while speaking. Husband, you really found an excellent confidant. Chu Sisi looked at Fang Fan, and couldn't help mumbling while talking. There was something wrong with what he said. It sounds like there is still a vinegar smell. Fang Fan smiled, without thinking too much, his hands became slightly stronger. Ah! Lena screamed suddenly. There was Lena in Fang Fan's arms at the moment. In order to cover up, Fang Fan forcibly pulled Lena into his arms. This dangerous situation has just passed, and Fang Fan has not had time to free his hand. Sorry Lena. I didn't do it on purpose. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3783. Feeling the softness in his arms, Fang Fan was reluctant to let go of his palms. Is this the so-called nature? So it seems that his nature is so shameless. Fang Fan frowned, his expression couldn't help changing. No. It's okay, master. Can you let me go? My chest hurts so much. Lena was blushing and could no longer speak. This expression and gesture are absolutely perfect. Fang Fan opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but his brain was buzzing and trembling invisibly. This time the taste, but also with whom to tell. This thing is really not intentional. Pure accident, absolute accident. Fang Fan exhaled a breath of foul air. His thoughts and consciousness were confused. In such a situation, what should I say? I'm a little confused. Cough. What about me? I was a little nervous just now. It's not intentional, don't worry about it. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows, then nodded. I know the master. Lena lowered her head, and now she no longer had the cool posture before, and it was difficult to control herself. It wasn't intentional, it was clearly intentional. Snort. You have so many tricks. My lord. Is it enough for you? Chu Sisi couldn't help giving Fang Fan a blank look, although she was more or less used to the yin-yang around Fang Fan. But habit is habit. If you really feel the place, the feeling is still very different. People are gone. Let's enter the city lord's mansion. Call. Just now I met a stunned blue god general. If it wasn't for another god general to pull him away, maybe something really happened at that time. Fortunately, the critical moment was stable. It's too thrilling. Be careful when you go out in the future. Many people already know your face. What should I do if something happens to you? Kathy looked at Fang Fan tenderly, and her eyes shone with a different look as she spoke. My mind was full of thoughts, my consciousness was messed up, and my whole body twitched slightly. Excited heart, trembling hands, all in silence. It would be a lie to say that there is no feeling at all. At this moment, the entanglement and surging feeling in my heart are gathering in an all-round way, and the feeling is slowly sweeping over. That kind of feeling is invisible and completely numb. I know. Don't worry, I will be careful in the future. Fang Fan's gaze scanned the surrounding area, and he really felt that his recent luck was not good. From time to time, there will be some surprises. Once or twice is okay, and it can be said that it is bad luck, but this time, it has been too many times, and it is really unreasonable to keep talking like this. There must be some tricks in it. When it comes to luck, it's illusory. But this stuff really exists. Fang Fan shook his head and didn't say much, his thoughts gradually fluttered, and everything was kept silent. Now it's time to get down to earth and complete the task. Tasks come first, and everything else is bullshit. The goal of this trip is the inner library of the City Lord's mansion. With Kathy leading the way, there were basically no barriers in the Santos mansion. It soon approached the inner library of the City Lord's mansion. 2 weak demigod breaths. They haven't evacuated yet. It's like this outside, I didn't expect them to stick here. Hey, it seems that Cassius attaches great importance to this newly created inner library. Fang Fan, how about, or think about it in the long run? Or, wait a little longer. When the battle ahead becomes more intense, maybe that old fellow Cassius will send them away. Going in now, it's still not very stable. Once things are exposed, we can't afford to walk around. Although Cassius is now going to fight against Disha City and Huangji City, if he knows that there are internal worries, he will most likely give up part of his benefits to Disha City and Huangji City. If at that time, Disha City and Huangji City are very likely to withdraw their troops, then we will face the attack and killing of the entire Tianlin City. Fang Fan. Kathy couldn't help but grab Fang Fan's arm, and her eyes trembled slightly as she spoke. Thousands of thoughts and confused consciousness, all kinds of feelings suddenly erupted in my mind. Everything has a new rhythm. If you are not careful, your consciousness may collapse at this moment. Kathy's analysis makes sense. At this time, if there is even a little bit of carelessness, you may fall into the boundless hell. At that time, it will not be so easy to get up again. This road has been completely blocked. For a moment, it was frightening. Scared. I was really scared. The chaotic heart is surging and bursting. If you are not careful, you will lose the moment. If you can't stand it, it will be cold. Don't be afraid. Things haven't reached that point yet. You're talking about the worst. As long as we can plan properly, we can kill those 2 weak demigods in an instant. Wealth and wealth are sought in danger. Follow our orders. Didn't you be asked to forge the City Lord's warrant before? Bring it here, I will imbue it with some true God breath. When the time comes, I will be by your side as a herald. You and the 2 weak and demigods of the Protoss said that the City Lord gave orders and asked them to carry some strategic materials into the cracks in the space. As long as they're in, everything will be fine. Fang Fan's idea seemed whimsical, and it sounded like fantasy to normal people. This is too bizarre. Moving strategic materials into the cracks in space. How can there be such a thing? Who else has this kind of power to manipulate space? This is unrealistic. Those 2 Protoss are weak and half-gods are not fools, how could they be fooled? No, too risky. Although I am the 17th Lady of the City Lord's mansion, the demigods in the City Lord's mansion only obey the orders of that Cassius. They don't have a lot of trust in me. No. Absolutely not. I disagree. It's better to break through. Kathy shook her head, she was absolutely impossible to implement this. It's all scalp tingling to listen to, let alone anything else. This thought was in place, and the picture in front of him also collapsed little by little. It's kind of hard, it's kind of hard. How to do it is the most important thing. If these are not handled properly, the treasure hunt will be like a castle in the air, and there is no possibility of execution at all. What should be done now? After all, it needs to come up with a charter. If the situation cannot be stabilized, everything will collapse completely. Right now, there must be no slack at all. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3784. You are indeed right. How many fools can achieve the position of demigod? Because of this, they are able to see some clues in an overly strict plan. And this kind of thing that sounds extremely absurd can actually attract them. Didn't we directly commit murder at the beginning? It's just a temptation, just a simple temptation. Anyway, give it a try. If you don't succeed, you will succeed. If it really fails, then we can only attack by force. Fang Fan has made up his mind. Kathy still wanted to persuade her again, but seeing Fang Fan's resolute expression, she couldn't help but sighed softly. The matter has come to this point, it is useless to say more. It can only be fully acted according to the established plan. Crazy combat power is blooming at this moment. It is more than words. Fighting. The ultimate battle. Open. These will be fully activated immediately. The small world of Shushan Pavilion is the key to success or failure. Chu Sisi and Lena pretended to be Kathy's maids, Fang Fan and Bai Piao pretended to be guards, and Kathy led the way. Everything was ready. Entering the inner vault of the city lord's mansion, Fang Fan could feel that he was instantly locked by two powerful divine senses. These people are not simple. It can explode directly in minutes. If you are a little careless, the whole situation will follow. The situation seemed a little dangerous. If the situation cannot be stabilized, the will be stretched across the board. The most important thing right now is to stay stable. The important place in the inner vault. Do not trespass. Otherwise, kill without mercy. A cold warning sound came, which was a warning from one of the weak demigods. The lady of the city lord is here, dare to be presumptuous. Send the military order of the city lord. Send a batch of military supplies to the front line. The military order of the city lord is here. And dare to be presumptuous. While Fang Fan was talking, he immediately cast Rage God's Majesty. In an instant, an extremely powerful aura swept over Fang Fan Zhou's body, with an extremely powerful oppressive force, which made people feel frightened for a while. This is the breath that belongs only to the true God. The so-called City Lord's aura on the warrant is actually nothing but the unique aura of a top demigod powerhouse. The supreme demigod, who can pretend. This momentum is not enough. But what Fang Fan is now stained with on the City Lord's warrant is the aura of a true god, which is 3 points more powerful than the aura of the supreme demigod realm. In an instant, the two strong Protoss who were weak and demigod suddenly appeared. Is this the breath of the City Lord? Master City Master, when did you become so strong? This breath. Among them, the older Protoss stunned for a moment, and couldn't help showing a strange look on his face. A different kind of feeling swept over my heart, and my whole person fell into numbness directly. The mentality is also slowly fluttering, and everything is silent. This taste is indeed not very pleasant. There are also some things that are not very good. Thoughts are rushing, thoughts are chaotic, and they are stabbing in an all-round way. How? Don't even recognize the aura of the City Lord. Ah! The Lord City Lord asked the City Lord's wife to come and announce the order in person. Do you dare to doubt it? Would you like to meet the City Lord first to debate the authenticity? If the battle on the front line is delayed, how many of your heads can be dropped? Fang Fan squinted his eyes, his aura completely collapsed, and when he spoke, he seemed to tear up everything in front of him completely. The trembling hands of the excited heart are surging and bursting at this moment. For a moment, the mentality fluttered, the consciousness surged, and there was nothing to say, nothing to say. It's very real, and it seems very surging. Could it be that the city lord's cultivation has improved again? I see. Such a powerful aura is incapable of being released by anyone except the city lord. It's really extraordinary. Tremble to the extreme. Tremor to the extreme. Whirring. The sound of inhaling involuntarily became rapid, his body twitched slightly, and his footsteps gradually followed suit. At this moment, the two weak demigods guarding the inner library already believed it. The formation is there. This is a strong breath, and it belongs to the wife of the city lord. I don't know what strategic resources the special envoy needs to extract. One of the weak demigods raised his eyebrows and said immediately. Need 10,000 Shenmue bows. Pair it with an appropriate arrow. Get ready quickly. And jump in from here. At that time, the city owner will naturally collect it at the other end. Fang Fan then opened the Shushan Pavilion passage. This kind of trick should not be used too many times. If it is used too many times, problems will easily occur. Ah! What kind of novel transportation channel is this? Can, still teleport through the air. The power of space, the Lord City Lord doesn't seem to have it. The younger Protoss on the side was stunned for a moment, looking a little dazed. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows and was about to explain. What do you know? The City Lord must have improved his cultivation, so this special ability has also been strengthened. Our Tianlin city is about to flourish. Just follow the special instructions. It's just 10,000 Shenmue bows. The old Protoss frail half-god began to wink frantically. In fact, everyone is not a fool, and they know exactly what to do. If what Fang Fan wants to take away is some rare treasure, then to be on the safe side, he must check with the city lord. But there are only 10,000 Shenmue bows, what danger will there be? So now, there is nothing to worry about. You can put your heart in your stomach. What should be done next? Everything has a charter. The situation develops in an all-round way, and the next comprehensive judgment will be as stable as Mount Tai. There is no need to be afraid, just start the full-scale thrust now. Not to mention anything else, just say that the city lord's wife has come here. Is it possible that they are trying to cheat 10,000 Shenmue bows? This can't be justified. Even if these 10,000 Shenmue bows are lost, the net worth of the two weak and half-gods is enough to make up for them at will. Since it's not a big deal, why can't it be flexible? If you choose to be flexible, you can still sell some face, so why not do it? Good things, these are great things. All of a sudden, my mind was full of thoughts, my consciousness was messed up, and my feelings swept over me. It's interesting, let's talk to someone. Erupted. It exploded in full force. Lots of fun. How to put it in. My Lord Special Envoy, this is the first time we have encountered this kind of thing, so I don't know much about it. Why don't you come? The old weak demigod and strong man of the Protoss looked at the entrance of Shushan Pavilion, a little dazed. You go in from here, and then put the storage ring filled with supplies on a card slot, and it will be sent directly to the city owner. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3785. When Fang Fan started talking about it, he definitely looked good. What is said inside and outside the words is simply not too true. The two Protoss weak demigods on the side looked at each other in blank dismay, couldn't understand, really couldn't understand. Puff. Although Bai Biao on the side couldn't understand the language of the Protoss, and didn't understand the communication in it, he couldn't help laughing when he saw the two weak demigods of the Protoss being fooled by Fang Fan. This guy can just laugh, the key is to laugh so loudly. Immediately, the two weak demigods of the Protoss stared at Bai Biao. What are you laughing at? What happened? What do you want to say? The old Protoss weak demigod vaguely felt that something was wrong with Bai Biao, and he was about to step forward to ask. Fang Fan's gaze sank. Bai Biao, that bastard. Not enough success, more than failure. Originally, this guy was brought up to activate a wave of invincible defense buffs just in case something went wrong. This looks like it's about to be done, this guy insists on making such a move. Fang Fan's face was dark, and the corners of his mouth twitched to the extreme. The current situation is a bit grim. If it is not handled well, everything will collapse. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, thinking to himself that everything in front of him was in full swing. If you can't stand still, you have to pull your hips completely. Be sure to be calm, calm down a little more. Fang Fan licked his lips, his mind was full of thoughts, his consciousness was messed up, and everything was kept silent. Without hesitation, Fang Fan slapped him with a big mouth. Snapped. A loud slap sounded, and Bai Biao was slapped directly on the ground. Shut up. This is also a place where you can be presumptuous. Snored. I really spoil you on weekdays. Fang Fan stared at Bai Biao, speaking in the language of the Protoss. Naturally, Bai Biao couldn't understand this, and followed through with a confused face. What is going on here? This is so special, I can't hold it down. If you are not careful, you may be completely suppressed. In this heart, all kinds of anxiety gathered, and the whole person was numb. A wave of bells and whistles. What is the key to develop next? This is the most important thing. The situation is unstable, and people's hearts are even more impetuous. However, Fang Fan's white eyes could still be understood, so naturally he dared not speak now, and he also knew that something happened to him just now. So now bow your head and say nothing. Master Special Envoy, this. The old Protoss weak demigod frowned, looking a little unhappy. The dog has no shape, disturbed the two of you, I'm sorry. My son is not in good spirits, please take care of him. Fang Fan casually said a few sentences to explain. This is not a big deal, the most important thing is that Bai Biao doesn't know Protoss. If these two guys in front of them found out, there would be a lot of trouble. But now Fang Fan took the initiative to calm down the matter. To some extent, the situation has stabilized. It turned out to be the son of the Special Envoy. Master Special Envoy is so lucky. He. My Lord Special Envoy, otherwise, why don't you bring this material in and give it to my lord the City Lord? This so-called special channel is indeed the first time we have seen it, so. The old weak demigod and strong man of the Protoss side, and while he was talking, he couldn't help showing an embarrassed look on his face. This wave of mentality is a little unstable. If you are not careful, this mentality will expand in an all-round way. Let's go. Let's go in together. Let me teach you a little bit. Maybe in the future, we will rely on this special method to send resources to the City Lord. At that time, you will all shoulder such a heavy responsibility. This way is the safest. It is also the fastest. Let's go. Don't resist the consciousness, just walk in together. Fang Fan waved his hand, and then led the way ahead. The two weak and demigods of the Protoss looked at each other, and there were still some doubts in their hearts, and their thoughts couldn't help but flicker. Brother Lietian, why do I feel a little absurd? Could it be a conspiracy? The younger Protoss weak demigod frowned, and his thoughts were a little messy at the moment. Conspiracy? Ah. Thinking too much. Where did so many conspiracies come from? Furthermore, it's not a dragon's pool or a tiger's den. What's so scary? Take a 10,000 step back, even if the dragon's pond and the tiger's den rely on our two brothers, What else can they do to us? At that time, we can still receive a little credit. Li Tian, a weak demigod and strong man of the Protoss, shook his head with a calm face. This is a strong self-confidence based on one's own cultivation. And this matter has not seen any flaws from the beginning to the end. They have brought the city lord's wife, and there is also the city lord's warrant, so there shouldn't be any problems. The city lord has developed a mysterious and powerful transportation channel. The merits of the city lord should be praised. In all aspects, the taste must be clear. That's the reason. Invisibly, it still seems very appropriate. Fang Fan walked in front, and the two weak demigods of the Protoss followed behind. Kathy and others walked last. Bai Biao hunched her body, her lips could not help but crooked. I have already scolded in my heart. He was beaten. Was beaten by Fang Fan Kid. Although it happened for a reason, it was just annoying. Just slap it once, and even slap it in the face? Can this be tolerated? Bai Biao's heart suddenly became extremely restless. But at this moment, for the sake of the overall situation, we still have to stabilize our mentality, not daring to slack off in the slightest, and absolutely not revealing half of our thoughts. Hold on, hold on. This is the key to the key. If you can't stabilize, the situation will be stretched. What happened? Entering here, how can my consciousness be so repulsive? Brother Lieshan, I always feel that something is wrong here. There will be no going back and no return. The younger Protoss frowns, his thoughts are wandering, and his feelings are a little numb. The taste here is not quite right. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. A heart instantly became chaotic. Chaos, chaotic Zhonglian has no order at all. What kind of trouble is this trying to make? Are you going or not? You think too much. Let's go. Heaven and earth, is there a place where you and my brother can't go? In this Tianlin city, otherwise, the city lord wants to kill us, or even if a strong demigod comes, we can't beat it, so why can't we escape? Furthermore, the mayor's wife is still there. This must be the Yuncha channel that the Lord City Master used his power to open up. It's only in the practice stage now, so there are some flaws. The Lord City Master is really invincible. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3786. Li Tian, a weak demigod and strong man of the Protoss, completely relaxed his vigilance, and with a thought, he rushed directly into the small world of Shushan Pavilion. The younger Protoss weak demigod hesitated for a while, but finally couldn't help but enter it. The pictures inside made them extremely surprised. Flowers and plants, everything. Isn't this a new world? The Lord City Lord actually has such extraordinary abilities. Unbelievable. The City Lord is too strong. It's unbelievable, really, really unbelievable. Is it true? Is it true? The younger Protoss weak demigod was deeply moved. He was shocked by the strange scenery around him for a while. While talking, his eyes could not help but sweep around the surrounding area, his excited heart trembled, and his mentality fluttered for a while. If you feel this way, you can tell someone more. It would be a lie to say I wasn't excited at all. At this moment, the anxious heart is surging in full swing. With such a thought, it is stabbing. Once the stab is in place, everything is stable. Wrong. Has a problem. What is this place? Walk. Go out. Get out. If the Lord City Master really owns a small world, how could he let us know? Besides, small world must be with the City Master, Why didn't the city master show up just now? The battle on the front line is so intense right now, and the battle situation is critical. Where does the city lord get the energy to run here? Go. Go. The older, weak, and demigod-level strongman of the Protoss turned his face to one side, and then he was about to run towards the entrance. But he turned around and saw that there was no entrance or exit. Gone, all gone. At this moment, Fang Fan and the others also felt relieved. Is this tricked into coming in? Fang Fan, you can do it? Some tricks. But what were you talking about just now? Hey, I can't hear you clearly either. Leave it out. Boom, boom, what's going on? It's not over yet. Bai Biao's mouth is always the most broken. While talking at this moment, his body couldn't help but tremble, his face was full of excitement, extremely surging. Anyway, this is a great thing. Things stabilized. Hearing that Bai Biao didn't speak the language of the Protoss, the two weak demigods of the Protoss could guess something no matter how stupid they were. Cheated. Who the hell are you guys? What's the purpose of pretending to be the special envoy of the city lord? What did you trick us into here? Court death. Don't think that bringing us here can be at your disposal. Humph. We are all weak and demigods. If you want to fight against my two weak demigods in Tianlin City, you are still far behind. The older Protoss snorted coldly, then rushed towards Fang Fan fiercely. He still knows the truth of capturing the thief first. Relatively speaking, he is a little more sophisticated. If he had awakened before, there might still be a little chance. Now, this opportunity has completely collapsed. It's cold. The situation is getting colder. Besides, if there are other things that are not there, it is naturally impossible to do it. This road has already been completely blocked. In the game of death, let's talk to someone. Hip pulling. Now it's really stretching the hips to the extreme. Fang Fan's eyes swept over, and then the hands and feet of the two weak demigods froze in the air, unable to move anymore. It doesn't matter whether you are a true god or a demigod, as long as you enter the small world of Shushan Pavilion, you will have to lie down. Here, Fang Fan is the supreme true god. It's too late to wake up now. It's time for this game to end. Fang Fan shrugged, then waved his hand, directly trapping these two weak demigods aside. As long as Fang Fan didn't let them go, they couldn't come out. It's amazing. I used to doubt whether you were a true god. Now I don't doubt it. You are. Besides the true god, who else has this kind of ability? Strong. Too strong. Fang Fan. Shouldn't I call you that? Facing His Majesty the Great True God, do I have to change my address? Kathy galloped over coquettishly, and her voice gradually became extremely soft as she spoke. Who can stand this? Immediately his eyes straightened. Excited heart, trembling hands, everything is surging. Little vixen. Look at how attentive she is. Snort. Shameless. Chu Ceci gritted her teeth, looking a bit apprehensive from the side. Why? Fang Fan is really too much. In front of Miss Chu Ceci, you still do this. It's really an abrupt beauty. If this is the case, we must suppress it. Bai Biao's eyes lit up, and then he started to do things aside. What do you think you are good for? Aren't you men all of the same virtue? Eat in the bowl and look at the pot. Don't be afraid of being stuffed to death. Chu Ceci gritted her teeth and couldn't help muttering aside. While speaking, her sharp eyes swept around, as if she wanted to completely sweep everything around her. Excited heart, trembling hands, all in silence. Let's go. Stop talking about it. Hurry up and gather up the treasures outside. After planning for so long, I finally started eating meat. I don't know what surprises it will bring me this time. My legion is still waiting to expand. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and the boundless combat power burst out all over his body. Right. Almost forgot this. The treasure is right in front of you. Fang Fan boy, I borrowed more than 70,000 pieces of the God Stone from you before. You said that if you want to repay me well, do you want to return it to me twice? If it weren't for my tens of thousands of God Stone fragments, how would you get rich, Fang Fan boy? Fang Fan, don't think I don't know, my tens of thousands of God Stone fragments saved your confidant. Boy Fang Fan, you can't treat me badly. Boy Fang Fan, I have merit. I am a minister of merit. Boy Fang Fan. Bai Piao ran around excitedly. While speaking, his eyeballs kept moving back and forth. Excited heart, trembling hands, all in silence. It would be a lie to say that I am not excited or excited. It is difficult for anyone to understand the anxiety at this moment. Feeling this way, the endless thrust is in place. I understand everything. Don't worry, I can't do without you. Hurry up and search for treasures. Galen, you all go out with me. But make less noise. Clean up the inner warehouse of the city lord's mansion as quickly as possible. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3787. Fang Fan stretched his waist, with a sense of relief on his face. The feeling of revisiting this old place is really different. The whole body is gathered in it, and the whole person is loose. Slowly, I feel quite comfortable. What I want is this feeling. Fluttering, but also feel a little exciting and surging. Whom can I tell you about the slow feeling? Pushing open the door of the inner vault, Fang Fan's body suddenly trembled. Is there a restriction? Fang Fan frowned, still playing this trick. It seems that the old guy Cassius is indeed much more cautious now after learning the lesson last time. Now what? The level of this prohibition looks very high. If it is forcibly broken open, it will definitely cause a lot of noise. When the time comes, it will be over when the time comes. Kathy scanned around the restriction, and while talking, her face became more and more ugly, and her face looked extremely gloomy while speaking. What to do at this moment is the most important thing. You can't pull your hips like this, can you? This doesn't look like that either. For a while, there was more or less anxiety in my heart. But if the handling is not good, this round will have to be completely collapsed. Sharp eyes swept across the surroundings, and his thoughts gradually became messy. You can't force your way in. I'll go back and question those two guys. Since they are guards, they must know the situation. Fang Fan had a thought, and without wasting time, he entered the small world of Shushan Pavilion again. The two weak demigod guards who were restrained were still cursing at the moment. Despicable and shameless villain. Kill. 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 There is a kind of let go of me. Let go of me. Damn. Damn. I will never let you go even if I am a ghost. I, Shen Qiu, will kill you. These two people are called Lai Tian and Shen Qiu respectively. They are the second-class god generals of Tianlin City, and they are also weak demigods. It's really a pity to kill like this. Master, they have been abusing you here. Or should we solve them? What's the use of keeping this kind of small shrimps? The god of viewer flew over with the purple-red fireworks, and couldn't help complaining from the side. Don't worry, they are still useful. Fang Fan waved his hand, and then directly approached the two people. How to break the restriction of the inner library? Fang Fan was straightforward without any delay. Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. Aren't you very powerful? You even have a small world that only true gods have, and you are stopped by mere restrictions. The treasure in this inner vault will not still be yours. Fortunately, the Lord City Lord has prepared in advance. Let me tell you, no one can open this restriction unless the city lord comes in person. The weak demigod and the strong of the Protoss roared loudly, with a stubborn face. Is this a ghost? Before you all took out the Shenmue bow from it. Heh. It's just an inner vault, and the city lord needs to come and open the door in person. I originally wanted to make you suffer less, but it seems that you are willing to suffer more. That being the case, then I can't help it. I can only treat you well. This path is yours to choose. Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and the endless aura burst out from his whole body. For a moment, the feeling of oppression is full. Suddenly, a sky-blue energy vortex suddenly surged up and down on Lai Tian and Shen Kai's Hu. There seemed to be countless small spikes in the energy vortex, and then they gradually approached the two people. Immediately after entering their bodies, piercing little by little. After entering the internal organs, the extreme pain swept across the body, and their complexions were completely deformed. Collapsed. Mentality collapsed. This, how can you play with this F***ck? My brain immediately buzzed. The boundless sense of restlessness swept over, and only after feeling that kind of pain can one know how terrible it is. His whole body and mind swept over it, and gradually, his eyes changed and shrank. Ah! Ah! Let me go! Let me go! Die! Die! Don't kill me! Give me a good time. I am a warrior of the Protoss. I don't want to suffer such disgrace. The roar was endless, and the hoarse roar seemed to completely suppress everything around it. That kind of despair is not something ordinary people can feel. I'm short of people right now. If you are willing to surrender to me, sign a contract with me and become my war slaves. I can consider giving you a way out. Remember, there is only one quota. Think clearly, tell me. My patience is very limited. Fang Fan's expression was very indifferent. When the two clans are at war, the essence is that the winner is king. Those who are not from our clan will have different hearts. Let go of the two Protoss weak demigods here? That is tantamount to attracting enemies to oneself. At that time, not only will they not have any gratitude, but they will directly kill you with their backhands. I don't know how many such deeds have been born. The farmer and the snake? Not really. It can only be said that such kindness is meaningless and worthless. At this point, it's all fully established on the spot. Excited heart, trembling hands, everything else can be said to be unmoved. If the situation cannot be stabilized, everything will be full of hips. At the moment of death, it will also attack instantly. Gee. It is your blessing to be able to submit to my master. This god has surrendered, why are you still so proud here? The god of Dur manipulated the body of purple flames to lobby. God. You call yourself a god? How could you be a god? A joke. It's a big joke. Lai Tian, a weak demigod and strong man from the Protoss, snorted coldly with a look of disdain. But soon, the whole body and mind were swept away by the pain of the explosion version. Constantly tormenting and suffering in this kind of pain, the whole person can no longer bear it anymore. The excruciating pain, the endless pressure, the body collapsed, completely collapsed. That's the taste, that's the feeling. Very real and very clear. Gee. Stupid fool. This god is the god of Dur. Snort. As for lying to you, you are not worthy. If it wasn't for the master who fell in love with you, according to my opinion, you little fellows, just kill them directly. Gee. The god of Dur controlled the body of purple-red fireworks, and then showed the breath of the true god. God's breath. Could it be true? No. Impossible. How could the true God appear in front of me? And if it is really a true God, then it is an omnipotent existence. How could it be possible to come over and threaten and lure me? Scam. This is clearly a scam. Yes. It's a scam. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3788. The yelling became louder. All this time, it was the weak and demigod of the older Protoss who was roaring. As for the younger Shen Xiu, a weak demigod of the Protoss, he didn't say much from the beginning to the end. As if thinking about something. Are you the fallen true god? It's gathering strength now. Find an opportunity and then counterattack. Shen Xiu, a younger and weak demigod of the Protoss, suddenly widened his eyes and said excitedly. The more frightened others are, the more excited he is. Opportunity, a once-in-a-million-year opportunity. How lucky it is to meet the true God himself. At a time like this, how can there be any slack? Naturally, he must concentrate all his energy on it, and then stab forward frantically. Great timing. Absolutely not to be missed. Take off. Take off in full swing. Excited heart, trembling hands, the rest is all nonsense. He. You can think whatever you want. So, what do you want? Fang Fan looked at Shen Xiu, a weak and demigod strong man of the Protoss who was younger, with a playful look on his face. Even the true gods will submit to you. And you also have a small world that only a true god can have. I'm convinced, you are the true god. It is my honor to meet a true god like you. It's such an honor. How can I back down? Opportunity, excellent opportunity. So, I want to surrender to you. I firmly believe that this is the best time. I am a Protoss. We have the utmost respect for the true God. We God race people are all descendants of the blood of the true God. Now I choose to recognize my ancestors and return to my ancestors. What's wrong? Your Excellency, please accept me. I will definitely not have the slightest intention of betrayal. The word of the true God is where my life lies. Bang, bang bang bang. Shen Qiu knocked his head on the ground with a determined look on his face. Those who know current affairs are heroes. Fang Fan actually really likes this kind of person. Not pretentious. Very direct. What we want is such an existence. You don't regret it? What if I let you go up the mountain of swords and down into the sea of fire, so that you will surely die? It's not necessarily a good thing to be loyal to me at this time. Since you have determined that I am the fallen true God, you should be clear that since there is a fallen God, there must be an extremely powerful enemy behind it. Maybe they killed me before I developed. At that time, are you sure you are willing? Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, and there was an evil smile on the corner of his mouth as he spoke. In the words, the thoughts are already expressed very clearly. These words are extremely true. As for the others, there is no need to say more. I understand everything naturally. I don't understand, that's too much nonsense, and it doesn't help much. The matter has come to this point, it is useless to say more. In this matter, after all, there must be a scale and rhythm. This point must be fully pursued. Willingly or not. Is it my turn to feel this? I only know that you are a true God. Being able to follow in the footsteps of the true God, even if I am smashed to pieces, I will recognize it. This is the path I chose, and it has nothing to do with anyone. And I firmly believe that the path I chose is fine. Absolutely fine. Opportunity. Excellent opportunity. If I really miss it, I will regret it for the rest of my life. So, not to mention anything else. Please God accept me. I, Shen Qiu, am willing to die for the true God. God is above, I, Shen Qiu, am willing to sacrifice everything. My loyalty, body, consciousness, and everything are yours. I, Shen Qiu, can follow the true God in this life. This is my great honor. While Shen Qiu was talking, His body couldn't help but twitched. Excited heart, trembling hands, such thoughts gathered in my mind, the sound of breathing gradually became extremely rapid. Crazy ideas are surging in bloom. Others have nothing to say, what else to say? Seize the opportunity, and sprint in an all-round way. Steady. Enough to. What I want is this taste. The taste is comfortable, and everything is there. Fang Fan raised his eyebrows. This is to let him disguise this true God to the end. No way, who made the golden signboard of true God so easy to use? Others agree with this. What can Fang Fan do? I can only accept it happily. Traitor. Treason. Shen Qiu. What are you doing? You bastard. What true God? How can there be such a true God? He's a liar. He's here to steal the treasures in our city lord's mansion. He is here to fight against the Lord City Lord. How did the true God fall to this point? Take a step back, even if he is a fallen true God, but now that he has fallen like this, what chance is there? His life has already ended here. Don't you think he has a future? Heh. Heh heh. Future? Shit future. Ah. Ah. The old Protoss weak demigod is still in agony. Said he was stupid? Not necessarily. It is also a kind of loyalty. But this kind of loyalty is not a good thing for Fang Fan at the moment. Brother Lietian, don't be foolish. Following the true God, we can have a broad road. How does City Lord Cassius treat you and me? Don't you have any points in your heart? Send us to the inner library as guards. Heh, in his heart, we only have such value. How many of our brothers were killed by him, haven't you woken up yet? Instead of following such an existence, it is better to follow the true God. Shen Qiu lowered his head. Fang Fan seemed more sincere. Your Majesty, can I make a request? Shen Qiu wriggled his lips, looking a little frightened and restless for a while. You say. Fang Fan nodded, looking very generous at the moment. I hope you can save your life. He can't think about it now, and he may not always think about it in the future. I can persuade him on behalf of the true God. It just takes a little time. Follow the strong, this is the eternal meaning of our Protoss. Shen Qiu raised his head, the excitement on his face was beyond words. No problem. So, let's sign the contract of God. From now on, you will be mine. Fang Fan nodded silently, feeling quite happy in his heart. This recruited a weak demigod force. And it is also a weak demigod of the Protoss. If you really want to calculate the combat effectiveness, it may not be worse than the strong demigods of the Temple of the Alliance of Light. That is to say, with Shen Qiu's help, he will be able to fight against the first-class Saint Wangtu in the Temple of the Light Alliance in the future. This guy doesn't want to deal with himself all the time. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Xu Yu. Chapter 3789. Facts have proved that the name and signboard of the true God are so easy to use. Otherwise, wanting to subdue the Protoss is simply daydreaming. There is stubbornness and arrogance in the bones of these people. They feel that they are the most noble existence, and they cannot easily succumb to others. They claim to be descendants of gods, so naturally only the true God can overwhelm them. God's contract. Am I really going to become a war slave of the true God? Has the day I've been looking forward to finally come? Is this true? Didn't all this lie to me? Why does it feel so illusory? Everything in front of me is slowly becoming blurred. It looks more and more different. Shen Qiu, still have such a chance in this life. From now on, I will be loyal to the true God. I will give my all to His Majesty the true God. Your Majesty, please accept my allegiance. A murmuring voice followed, with an excited heart and trembling hands. Shen Qiu, a weak and demigod strong man of the god race, gradually lowered his noble head. Everything that's unfolding right now is genuine. The moment is to really attach. It sounds a little absurd. But it is this kind of absurdity that shows an unusual style. For a moment, thoughts fluttered, and the whole person followed suit. It's different, it does feel different. It is more than words. For the true God, there is endless worship. That is not clear in a few words. Fake. Fake. Shen Qiu, you idiot. You were fooled. Asshole. You were cheated and still counting money here. How can there be any true God? God of shit. Oh yes, Shen Qiu, you bastard, you can't take advantage of this opportunity to get off the donkey because you are greedy for life and afraid of death, right? Shameless. Shameless. What are you thinking in your own hearts? Do you really think that I don't know? Don't say it, just don't say it. Any fool knows what it's like. Didn't you deliberately treat this kid in front of you as some real god because you were afraid of being killed? Then surrender to this kid in the name of allegiance to the true God. In this case, it will be hard for others to say anything. After all, you are loyal to the true God. Tisk. Tisk tisk. Why didn't I see before that you still have such agility? Ha 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 ha. Who are you trying to fool with that little trick? No one can be fooled. It's so clear to see. Traitor. Shen Qiu. You are a traitor. You are so wrong. The city owner will know everything that happened here soon. The Lord City Lord will not let you go. Your death is in front of you. Dead. I'm going to die soon. This dead end is right in front of your eyes. If you still have a bit of backbone, stand up and kill this kid. He is here to loot the treasury of the city lord's mansion. He is here to fight against the city lord. Even, they are not our Protoss people at all. Ghost knows where they came from. By the way, they are familiar with the road, it must not be the first time. The last time the city lord's mansion's treasury was stolen must be because of them. Die. Die. The roar of the older Protoss, weak and demigod, can be heard endlessly. If people are crazy. That being said, it has some flavor. Although these words are crazy and crazy, but after a little experience, the various truths that can be known are relatively true and clear. Everyone has his own ambition. Brother Lietian, you will regret it in the end. Following in the footsteps of the true God, this is our only choice. If you miss it, you will never have such an excellent opportunity in this life. Regret, you will regret it after all. At that time, let's figure it out. Everything will be completely wiped out. I just walked on the Kongzhuang Avenue ahead of time. I'll take it for Brother Lietian first. Shen Qiu raised his head, his eyebrows trembled slightly. There are thousands of thoughts, messy consciousness, and the whole person is in a period of will explosion. For a moment, the whole person fluttered. The contract of the wild god. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, his lips trembled slightly, and then let out all his thoughts. This wave has basically stabilized. Ah! Shen Qiu's body trembled slightly, as if he felt some pain, but soon, this feeling disappeared. This is a change in feeling during the creation of the Rage God deed. Probably because there is still a little resistance in consciousness at this moment. When this resistance completely disappears, this pain will also disappear. Everything is stable. Master. Shen Qiu knelt down in front of Fang Fan on one knee, the loyalty in his eyes became more and more obvious at this moment. If it is said that the so-called loyalty before was all hypocrisy, but now Shen Qiu's fate has been completely controlled by Fang Fan. If he dared to rebel, Fang Fan could kill him anytime, anywhere. Whoring a weak demigod for nothing. There's another good thing. As for the weak and demigod of the other Protoss who entered the urn, wait until the Rage God's contract cooldown period has passed before trying to subdue it. If you don't use the Rage God's contract to fully subdue it, it will be unsafe. If you are not careful, there will be some disturbances. Who can bear this? Fang Fan shook his head, thinking to himself, his eyes trembled slightly. Gradually, there are more and more ideas. It is more than words. Interesting, indeed somewhat interesting. Walk out of the small world. Fang Fan brought Shen Qiu out directly. There was still a treasure house waiting for him to open it outside. When Shen Qiu appeared in front of everyone couldn't help showing nervous expressions on their faces. Fang Fan Jun. Kathy snorted coldly and was about to come to rescue Fang Fan immediately. Fang Fan boy, why did you release this demon? He's going to kill us. What the hell are you going to do, kid? Too dangerous. Get rid of him quickly. Bai Biao took a deep breath and instantly became vigilant. But at this time, these seemed to be useless. There is even a sense of powerlessness. For a moment, my brain trembled and my mentality completely collapsed. Play. Just for fun? My brain is buzzing. The key lies in how to choose next. If the situation is not right, the situation will follow, and this is the crux of the problem. Don't worry. Don't worry. He has already served me. We're together now. Fang Fan shrugged, and then said it twice in a row. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 3790. Protoss language needs to be spoken once, and normal language must also be spoken once. Too much trouble. If there is time, let them learn their own languages. This is a must for rewards. Fang Fan narrowed his eyes, thinking to himself, his eyebrows gradually raised, and all kinds of thoughts deep in his heart increased. Is it working for you? How is this possible? The man guarding the treasury must be the confidant of that old fellow Cassius. How could they choose to take effect? Even if he died on the spot, there is absolutely no way he would do such a thing. Is this too abnormal? Are they all pretending? If this is really a disguise, it would be terrible. This method is extremely clever. Ordinary people can't play it well. Terrible. Terrible. Fang Fan, be careful. He is most likely a false surrender. Kathy bit her red lips, then pulled Fang Fan over, and then looked at Shen Qiu vigilantly. Madam of the City Lord, why do you have to defend me so much? I am loyal to the Lord, so of course it is sincere. Even the wife of the City Lord can become the confidant of the Lord. If I choose to serve the Lord, why not? Even if I don't tell you about the charm of the Lord, the wife of the City Lord must know it. Smart people don't speak dark words. I am in admiration for the Lord. Shen Qiu shrugged, then knelt down on one knee in front of Fang Fan, expressing his loyalty again. When these words came out, Kathy was speechless. Listen, it makes sense. After a little follow-up, the truth seems to be the same. If I can commit myself to this bastard, why can't the weak demigod of the Protoss? Summarized in the small world of Shushan Pavilion, even the weak demigods of the Protoss are facing the crisis of life and death. Isn't it normal to have a sense of hesitation and fear in the face of life and death? In addition, to Kathy, Fang Fan has another more mysterious identity, that is, he is a true god, the reincarnation of a true god. Now you may have encountered some fetters and fell here. But one day, a carp will jump over the dragon gate, and then it will turn into a real dragon. Who wouldn't want to see such a potential stock? Anyone who doesn't want to be caught is a fool. They're all big fools. Feeling this silently in my heart, my eyes suddenly brightened. It is more than words. With an excited heart and trembling hands, he immediately knew this ultimate idea and mentality. Surging. Continue to surge. Invincible heart. Talk to someone more. The excitement is in place, and I understand everything I understand. The two languages are not fluent, and it is Fang Fan who is numb. After explaining to Kathy, Fang Fan wanted to tell Bai Biao, Chu Sisi, and Lena again. Otherwise, with Lena's protector appearance, she wished to cut off Shen Qiu's head directly. Surrender. Really surrender. It really looks like a loyal look. Tisk. Fang Fan, you can do it, or you have a way. This is a weak demigod from the Protoss. Boy Fang Fan, I have a plan. Or let's wander around in Tianlin City, and then trick all the demigods in Tianlin City into the small world of Shushan Pavilion, and then persuade them to surrender one by one. In this way, our power will expand. Bai Biao blinked, and then his eyes lit up. For him, this is an excellent opportunity. If you grasp it well, maybe it will take off like this. The idea is beautiful. It's just too simple. If Fang Fan hadn't used the Rage God's contract to contract Shen Qiu as his own war slave, would Fang Fan dare to pull it out and use it casually? Are you really not afraid of death? If you are a little careless, you will fall to pieces. Rage God's contract has a cooling off period. In this respect, Bai Biao couldn't gamble. Circumstances are stronger than people. Fang Fan secretly squinted his eyes, his mind was in a mess, his whole body fluttered. The messy will is bursting out in an all-round way at this moment, and everything is silent. Open the inner vault. There is a restriction, you should be able to break it. Fang Fan looked at Shen Qiu at the side, and immediately started to get to the point. This time it's a treasure hunt. That's the only purpose. As for subduing a weak demigod, that was purely a surprise. Okay, my lord, I'll open it right away. Shen Qiu nodded. If he pushes and resists at this moment, what will happen? Having just joined the master's command, what he has to do is to control the rhythm well and not slack off in the slightest. Shen Qiu took out a command talisman and placed it on the restriction, and then a white light flashed in front of him, and the restriction disappeared completely. There seems to be some movement in here. Can there be any movement? Are you thinking too much? Really, it seemed like someone was yelling in here just now. Outside the inner warehouse of the city lord's mansion, there was a sudden discussion. The danger never went away. It just changed the situation and continued to exist. Fang Fan winked at Shen Qiu. Understood, my lord. Shen Qiu immediately went out to deal with it. Get out. The treasury is important. When is it your turn to inspect? Shen Qiu directly displayed the aura of a weak demigod and a strong man, and then frightened the small group of guards. It turned out to be Lord Shen Qiu. I just felt some movement inside. Is this what happened? My lord, the city lord, told me thousands of times before leaving, that there must be no accidents in this treasury. This treasury has already been stolen once. If there is another accident, the city lord will kill us all. The guards looked at each other, and they were still suspicious at the moment, which was quite conscientious. I was practicing in it just now. It's okay, don't come here casually. It's guarded by me and General Lieshan, what do you have to worry about? The key is the periphery, don't let others in. No one is allowed to enter. Get out. Shen Qiu's attitude was very firm, and he wanted to get rid of this as soon as possible. It's just that the more anxious he is, the more unwilling these guards are to just leave. Each of them looked at each other, and the suspicious look on their faces grew even more. Master Shen Qiu, why don't we go inside and have a look? What if something unexpected happens? This right was bestowed upon me by the city lord. Lord Shen Qiu, It's better not to stop him. Otherwise, if I report it, the city lord may still think that Lord Shenqiu is guarding and stealing here. The little leader of the guard moved his lips slightly, and then began to speak sarcastically.